Lil Tjay, 20-year-old rap star, New York Bronx native, is one of the few new school rappers to succeed and solidify a place in the melodic hip-hop, trap and drill music scene. In 2016, at only 16 years old, he would release one of his first songs titled Resume on SoundCloud, which would quickly catch the attention of the industry. He'd go on to release more viral songs like the track None of Your Love, featuring production from YouTuber and industry beatmaker Catch Money AP, which would again go on to rack up millions of streams online. Fast forward to 2020 and we can see Lil Tjay really start to blow up and solidify his brand within the industry. This time releasing a drill-themed EP titled State of Emergency, which would feature several popular drill producers like 808 Mellow and Axel Beats. This EP would make sense as he shares his New York roots with artists such as Pop Smoke and 504, who he'd go on to both feature on the track Zoo York, again racking up millions of views. Lil Tjay's sound can be described as almost R&B when it comes to his delivery, while lyrically being a voice for the streets. This makes sense as he stated he has always been heavily influenced by artists like Drake, Usher and even Justin Bieber. But with features from some of hip-hop's hardest drill rappers, there's no doubt that he can lyrically stand up to the best in the game. Now, after his hugely successful album Destined to Win and his short hiatus, we see Lil Tjay dropping his new single titled In My Head, which we'll be remixing today. This song features a drill-themed drum line and a sample from Sean Kingston's Like a Melody. Wait, Ayaz made Replay. I never knew that. I always thought it was Sean Kingston, which I believe fits perfectly Lil Tjay's style, as he's always liked the R&B pop sound and has a Jamaican heritage. Obviously he's part of the New York drill scene, so this all fits together pretty nicely. To achieve this sound, we'll really be focusing on blending drill vocal mixing techniques with some high-end New York style methods to fit into the beat. New York rap vocals tend to sound expensive as artists gravitate to high-end studios for the vibe, solid vocal chains and loud speaker systems. If you want your music to be top quality and of the standard, no cheap shit or scammy techniques allowed. Stay tuned for the tutorial as I'll be showing you some methods on how I get my vocals to truly blend in with the track today. Check the link below for some of the highest quality presets in the game. I'll let the sound speak for itself. Let's get it. Alright, let's get straight into the tutorial. So yeah man, all we're trying to do is really smoothen up those vocals, make them sound nice, make them sound high end, and I got some techniques for you. So let's play the track real quick and then we'll break it down as simple as possible. Let's get it.
She calling me right now, double call yes right now. All these groupies at fake now, all these groupies at fake now. I get a bag and flip it, hop on the beat and kill it. To me it's just business, work in a pan, I whip it. AR-15, that shit gon' hit you from a distance. I did this shit on my lonely, yeah. We hit the club and she on me, yeah. Get forward the ops, they phony, yeah. I got them racks and they spit out my jeans. Pick up my addict, I'm a money fiend. My power 8, I'm sipping on lean. We rolling blunts down like limousines. Rolling dope and go straight to my mind. I can be feeling I'm one of a kind.
Alrighty, so there you go. That is what we're working with today. Nice, clean, upfront, expensive sounding, okay? And really, man, the first and most important thing you want to do, regardless of if you're using a template or not, is to really organize and record your vocals, organize your project in a way that you're going to be able to deal with things later, right? This is why we use a template format. Definitely check out the courses to help you better that procedure, right? Because if you can do this in your home studio, you're going to be getting better sounding vocals off the bat, right? You're not really going to be stuck with all of these clips everywhere, that will kind of hurt you later on, right? So you organize that and following these procedures becomes a lot easier. All right, so first things first, man, auto-tune or not, right? This is more melodic style mixing, so we're going to be using auto-tune. 200 likes on this video and I will do a New York UK style drill vocal effect, so smash that like button. But yeah man, we're using a bit of auto-tune, and as you can see, we're recording our vocals to 0VU. Again, check out the course if you want to learn how to do that properly. You can see these vocals have so much more headroom and fidelity because we're recording them correctly, right? Your gear, your audio interface has a certain level at which it doesn't want to be recording above, right? There's a level that's kind of too much, right? And so you want to capture your vocals in the right way to get that fidelity. And you can see we've got tons of headroom to work with here. If we just play the vocals, this is the raw level before our vocal chain.
All these groupies at fake now, all these groupies at fake now. I get a bag and flip it, hop on the beat.
And we're respecting that 0VU. We can go over a little bit, but we don't really want to be going much more than kind of +3. We don't want that overload light to be, lit up the whole time, right? So definitely record your vocals in a good way. From then on out, we're going to hit the main vocal chain, so that's rooted to the main vocal chain. Both of these main vocals are just the same channels pretty much, right? Just one is going to or both are going to the vocal chain, right? And that's where we start our manipulation. This is what you're here for, right? First thing I like to do is add in the Farai's vocal enhancer. Okay, this is a analog style preamp, definitely important if you are not recording with any sort of expensive gear. You need something like this. I'm recording to a Neve preamp, and I'm still going to be adding this because I like the way it smooths the vocal down, right? This is the MK1 version. We do have the MK2 version available for FL Studio. Check it out, link in the description. But really all this is doing is adding on that kind of console sound, that saturation sound. Okay, if I turn this off, you can immediately hear the vocal sounds a bit more kind of digital. You know, I really wish I could just mix on an analog style format, and I'd probably be pretty happy, but you know, we're still in the computer. There are benefits to it, but sound wise we want to kind of smooth things out. So if you take a listen without it,
all these groupies that fake now, all these groupies that fake now, I get a bag and flip it.
Right, it's like there's kind of like this tubbiness, there's no kind of excitement in the top end once we turn this on.
All these groupies that fake now, all these groupies that fake now, I get a bag and flip it.
You know, suddenly there's this little bit of extra life added in, and it's a cool, beautiful thing, man. So yeah, there you go. Obviously, you know, New York is definitely home to a lot of SSL consoles. Okay, I am personally a big fan of SSL style mixing, and you know, this is a channel strip. This is a general channel strip. You can use your stock DAW channel strip. You could use Fruity Parametric EQ, doesn't matter. Analog Obsession definitely have a version that works pretty well. But all we're going to be doing here is really just kind of toning our vocal. Now this is always going to be dependent on the beat, okay? But really all I'm going to be doing is tucking away a little bit of bass. That's generally where male vocals are going to kind of be clashing with the beat. So you want to deal with that. Around 200 is perfect. As you can see, I'm not doing too much reduction in this one since this beat is a bit more kind of warm, right? Lil Tjay sound has been quite warm. The emphasis has not always been on like his high end, you know what I mean? He's kind of got a much smoother sound on most of his songs. So, you know, we don't want to be going too crazy. I'm just doing a slight high pass filter at 41, doing a little bit of a treble boost, but nothing crazy. And from then on out, we are then using some isotope EQs, right? Isotope plugins. And really all we're doing here is we are subtracting, right? So I'm not going crazy with boosting. We don't want to change the natural tone of our vocal. We allow the analog saturation plugins to kind of create that sound. You'll see later on down the chain I do the same thing, but all we're really focusing on is reducing things we don't like. Okay, we really want our vocal to kind of sink into the beat so that we have that space, you know what I mean? We've got that space where we can hear the 808, we can hear the vocal. So we're not going to be boosting. Okay, so I'm doing slight cuts at 254, 2.5 dB cut, 511, you know, just really removing some of that like kind of cardboardiness from the vocal. Again, we're removing you know, shrilly parts of the vocal, so parts that kind of stick out in a nasty way, resonances that are natural to the human voice when picked up by a microphone. 2.1 dB cut, 6K again, slight cuts, right? Nothing crazy. After that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be feeding that into a dynamic EQ, and as you can see, again, we're not boosting anywhere. Okay, again, I'm just focusing in on this. I don't think I can visually see everything, but yeah, all I'm really doing, again, 258. That was kind of annoying me in this track. Little bit of a cut. There is a free dynamic EQ out there called Tokyo Dawn Labs. I will include this in the free VST version of this template, but again, 258 cut, nothing crazy, just dealing with that kind of lower resonance in the voice, you know, again around 519, we're dealing with that again. It's very slight, very minimal. Same thing around here, we're dealing with that 5.5. You know, things tend to pop out a little bit in that range, so we're kind of doing some really light de-essing, okay, before we do some more processing. And then just a little bit of a kind of pull tech back sandbell is kind of a pull tech curve. For those who don't know, pull tech is a very smooth style EQ, and this is also just, again, kind of clamping that vocal down. So as you can see, all we've really done is kind of pull back on frequencies we don't like. Okay, keep it simple, don't go overboard. Now, it wouldn't be a mix if I was not using the fab filter. Okay, this is really where I get intricate, and again, this is going to be very specific to whatever track you're mixing, so don't follow these exact frequencies, more so follow the ranges at where we're working at, you know. So again, 139, 238, a little bit of a resonance EQ, just kind of killing off frequencies we don't like to really help our vocal blend into the beat. Okay, you know, if you don't have access to crazy listening gear, if you've got some good headphones, you can really hear what's going on, but you don't want to be doing this on like small little PC speakers because you won't really hear what's going on, right? So get yourself some good headphones and do some nice cutting if need be. You know, all really doing is cutting away things we don't like. Very slight boost at 5.6 just to kind of bring back what we've taken out. And yeah, it's that simple, right? Nothing crazy. Okay, we've done all of this with intent, right? A little bit of saturation and then cutting away stuff now we're getting into that stage where we want to do a little bit of kind of analog processing. Okay, so what I'm using right now, and I've really slept on this plugin, and damn does it sound good, is the SSL Valve Comp. Generally I'll be using a Waves R compressor. I also feel it's got a nice squeeze to it, but this is really cool. I really wanted a limiter style compressor. At first I had the LA2A, didn't really like the sound of it, so I decided to go with this kind of Valve style compressor. And it's just got a huge weight to it. It's got a huge smack to it when it begins to compress. So what I've done, instead of heavily compress with it, is just kind of tuck it, right? So you'll see how much compression we're doing. Really not doing much.
Working a pan, I whip it. AR-15, that shit gon' hit you from a distance. I did this shit on my...
You know, it's barely coming in. I think there's spots at the beginning.
You calling me right now. Double call, yes, right now. All the group is at fake now. All the group is at fake now. I get a bag and flip it. Hop on the beat and kill it. To me, it's just...
You know what I mean? It's really just doing like 0.5 dB on certain words. But what we are doing all throughout this track is we have the valve enabled, which is adding in another stage of saturation. So, excuse me, this is really just following a nice kind of analog, you know, expensive old school path, right? But it's all in the box and it all sounds good, right? So again, we're going to be adding a little bit more SSL style EQ. This time around, we're using a stereo style equalizer. Okay, this is modeling a console sound. Now, New York is known for, as I said, the big studios with SSLs, and the SSL 4000 is probably the most well-known you know, console within the hip-hop community. For those who watch Mixed by Ali, you would know he has a 4000G console, and it sounds so good, you know. So I'm always going to be adding that on vocals where I want them to sound a bit more expensive. You know, this is definitely going to put you in that ballpark. But again, you can use another saturation plugin to just kind of add in that extra bit of harmonic distortion, right? And all I'm doing this time around really is getting rid of everything above 11.4K. So that's really just low passing the vocal. But with the SSL, it really doesn't remove much. You know what I mean? If you looked at this on a curve, it's really not removing much, but it's just kind of de-essing the vocal in a way. Okay, I'm tucking away a dB of 1K and just doing a little bit of cutting, nothing crazy, you know what I mean? Really just kind of touching the vocal here and there and just getting that vibe right, getting that sound right. I want the performance to still be there. We don't want to cut away and pull out so much that things don't sound good. So we want to be really careful when we are processing our track. You know, so there you go, that's that. Afterwards, I am kind of using a new technique which I've been messing around with. You know, at first, you know, I was doing my mixes using the Slate, using this virtual mix bus, and I thought, man, it doesn't sound weighty enough, right? Because I'm used to mixing analog, and like we want that weight, we want that warmth. And so what I did was I thought to myself, why don't I use an EQ into this kind of saturator, into this kind of bus type thing, and you know, really then kind of control what I'm doing into it, right? Or manipulate what I'm doing into it and give it like a sound, right? And this really did pay off. So the trick here is that I am boosting by 2 dB right on this API style EQ, but then I'm actually reducing the output of that by 2 dB. So what I really gain is I gain some weight at 30 Hertz and I gain some weight at 20 Hertz. And really all that's doing is kind of creating a smiley curve, which is kind of emulating analog, right? I'm not really using this for straight up EQ. I'm also using it for like toning and kind of bussing. You know, that's something we gain in analog, which we can do in the box. And then again, I wanted a bit more. Oh no, actually I don't have this on, so I didn't end up using that. But yeah, just these two things are creating a really cool effect, and I do really like the way it sounds. So it's really cool, it's really simple, it's a trick you can try. EQ, turn down the output depending on what you're boosting, and then hit that into a virtual mix bus, you know, your NLS from Waves, your Acoustica Sand, whatever it is that you like. Again, I'm using the Brit 4KG, which is the SSL 4K. So you can see I'm kind of sticking to these certain methods of working, right? After that, we're just doing final amounts of de-essing. I do have a de-esser preset, which I really like, and it's simple, you know, it's really just popping in once in a while.
You calling me right now. Double call, yes, right now. All the group is at fake now. All the group is at fake now. I get a bag and flip it. Hop on the beat and kill it. To me, it's just business. Working a pan, I whip it. AR-15, that shit gon' hit you from a distance. I did this shit on my lonely, yeah.
And you can see the de-esser is also not working too hard, right? Because we've really gotten rid of all the things that we need to. We just want a general kind of overseer just to make sure things don't get out of line. We really want that vocal to sit in one pocket, right? So yeah, pretty simple, man. Standard Seth Firkin style flanger. That's really it, you know, on the main vocal. I do have some two presets that I won't really talk about in this video. I'll leave those for the people who cop this template. But yeah, you know, standard on my vocal chains is using a SSL mix bus on the vocal bus, my bad, just to kind of tuck away all the vocals.
Calling me right now, double call yes right now.
And that to me just gives us that kind of finalized sound, you know what I mean? I love to use the L1 limiter just to boost the level and then turn down the output ceiling, and I get this kind of more level sound. So, you know, that's really what I'm doing on the mix bus. But, you know, doublers are simple, man. You know, we really just want to make sure that we are creating kind of short, slappy style doublers. I think one of these has more reverb on it than the rest. It's probably this, maybe it's this one, right? The NY doubler. Yeah, so that's just got a bit more reverb on it, you know, Korg style. And that's actually being sent to the reverb bus. But yeah, just some flanger. You know, it's simple and sweet, man. I'll leave that for the... You know, we really want our New York style doublers to be kind of short and in your face, right? That's kind of the sound we're going for. We're just using some SSL Flex Verb, which I think sounds amazing. This might be my new favorite reverb. But yeah, man, you know, we're keeping it simple, keeping it locked. And yeah, man, if you concentrate on following these procedures, you will get a much better vocal sound. So yeah, man, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Definitely check the link below to cop this FLP, as well as check out links to my vocal recording course and vocal mixing course. Definitely make sure to smash that like button, and feel free to ask questions on Instagram or in the comments. I'll check out next time. Peace out.